Welcome to Two Brews
and a Good Move.
I'm Danny V.
I'm Connor Faulkner.
And we're going to bring you the best of all the world.
Best of the best.
From the two idiots in town.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a lot to talk about today. A lot of movies that we want to get to, a lot of celebrity mishaps, and of course the Oscars that are just around the corner. There's a lot going on in 2016, and it's a great time to be alive.
Absolutely. So let's get it started first. Man, how was your week?
It was strange.
Yeah?
It was good and bad. The snow really pisses me off a lot.
Right.
I'm sick of it.
We had a lot of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, people don't know how to drive in the snow.
No. Did you have any mishaps when you were driving?
I spun out. I did a few donuts unintentionally in the street.
Okay.
I had to blow through at least 4 stoplights, just break the law because I couldn't stop. It was too far, and
Nothing,
people,
huh?
yeah, people in these
freaking
Subarus, man, they think they're Superman. But they just say, screw it, I'm gonna speed past you,
right.
And they pay for it.
It's scary, man. I mean, it's funny. It's that there's a certain name for it, and I can't think of it, but it's like, they feel they're invincible when they have a 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive stuff like that. It's weird. It really is to watch them. Like it just bites them in the butt like that,
Well, and you also feel safe behind the wheel of a car,
right?
Especially when you're passing someone on the street, and you just want to talk crap to them.
Yeah,
you feel safe. If you weren't inside that badass car you got there, you wouldn't have the balls to talk to these people, and that's what they do.
I never have any of that problem. I like to mess with people when I drive.
Yeah.
Like in the summer, I try to take the top off my Jeep, and I like to take the doors off and stuff like that. I have a Wrangler, and so I go and I'll pull up to a light, and I'll look over and meet eye contact with the person next to me, and I'll go straight. I'm like, oh, and I'll look straight, and the next thing I know, I like start rolling up my window that's not there because there's nothing there, and
help me.
I reach over and I lock the door, and I just hold straight, and the person next to me is like freaking out, like, what are you doing, man? Like,
I always like to pull up to someone and at a stoplight and just turn my head slowly like this. Look at him.
Oh, is that?
And give him a little smooch.
Oh, one of those.
And raise your eyebrows a little bit. That really makes people uncomfortable, and I love it. I love it. That's one of my biggest pleasures in life, is creeping people out.
Yeah, I mean so I've never really been one for road rage or any sort of that. I like to scream at people,
stupid.
But I don't like to I'm not aggressive about it.
No.
It's like,
traffic is out of your control.
Crazy. Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about traffic. You can't slow it down. You can't speed it up. You just got to go with the flow. Mm-hmm. And wasting your energy bitching and moaning about it, it's just going to affect you and no one else. People are going to laugh at you as you're having a seizure in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
Slamming
making you
stuff.
Even more mad because people are laughing at you or something.
I don't know.
What's your recommendation for all these fine people? What's the favorite thing to do in the car?
Turn up that music. I personally like to listen to KBPI. I don't know about you.
Wow, that was a selfless plug. Just kidding.
You know what? I'm not going to be a musician, man. I don't have the voice, as you listeners can tell right now. Sound like freaking Kermit the Frog over here. But I like to sing and dance. That always gets it going. Makes traveling move a lot faster and more enjoyable. Yeah. And people like seeing people having a good time in their car.
I agree.
I always smile when someone's dancing, singing in the car. Yeah. It just makes my day.
I agree. That's always my favorite thing, though, is just, and I think it's the clown inside me that just wants to make people laugh. And I know, because I know I've had that feeling, or that feeling when I pull up to a car and it's like, what is wrong with you?
God,
and then you just laugh afterwards and stuff. Like I was driving behind a car with my sister, and it was, I don't remember what it was. He was like holding up his finger or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was something, and so we started doing it all the time, and now I can't remember. Gosh, great, good storytelling, Danny. Good storytelling.
It'll come back to you. But speaking of fingers, do you ever catch that person picking their nose, digging deep for gold? I see that every day almost. People just like.
I'm usually that guy.
Sometimes you have to.
I'll do that,
but,
and then I'll reach over and I'll be like, try to flick it at the person staring at me. But
stop looking at me.
So it won't come off, and I'm like, and then
here's a nice booger for you. Sell this booger on eBay. That's Connor boogers.
There you go.
But it's really, it's really awkward.
That's weird. Yeah. So stories about snow driving and driving in general. That was a really good. We really escalated that quickly there.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, it did snow here in Colorado this last week. And
really
it's
bad.
The most snow that we've had all year.
Yeah,
I think.
And it's
I'm
February.
Not sure. Yeah, which should be our snowiest month.
Yeah.
Which
it usually is.
Which obviously it is now because that was crazy. So it's still sticking around. People are crazy. So I mean, if you're driving around, be careful. But
be careful, be vigilant, and don't think you're a badass just because you have a Subaru, because you're not.
Yeah.
Be safe out there.
Driving a Subaru, I drove a Subaru my middle and like kind of later high school years.
Oh,
and it was my mom's Subaru, and so I would take it to school, but I also had an hour-long commute every day because I lived here in town in Denver, and I drove up to Elizabeth, where I went to school.
Damn.
And so hour commute every day, like 5 days a week, and so it was.
Good God.
Yeah, it was bad, but I liked it, and I got really good at driving. And so every time, but I was also the only person in my friend group that had a car, and so I would take the Subaru, and everything's dirt roads out there, and so I got the best at drifting in an all-wheel drive car, which is weird.
Man.
It was so great all the time. I was drifting around everything.
I can't drive. I can't push myself to the limits. I had a really bad experience backing into a mailbox, my grandma's mailbox. It's still standing. I used to drive an Expedition. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten my permit, and I was pulling out of my grandma's driveway, and she has this huge tank of a mailbox. Mm-hmm. And I parked too closely to it, and when I backed up, I heard this, and I was like, oh, shit. So I look in the back, and I see the mailbox inside of my car. Inside of it. It's just chilling there, looking back at me, and I was just in awe.
Inside
I was
of
like,
it? Oh, my gosh.
So I did the ridiculous thing of continuing to back up.
Where you're like, this mailbox is getting closer inside my car.
So the mailbox swiveled as I backed out, and it's somehow still standing today. Something might be paranormal going on with that mailbox. Yeah. It's just meant to be here. I don't know.
So let me ask you this: Are you a fan? First off, I can top that, so we'll go back to that because it's a story I can top. Ooh. Trust me. Are you a fan of the paranormal? I am. Because earlier when we were setting up the camera, it went black or something like that. It was just a power. It was a power down system to save battery, and because this was not one take.
No. This is many takes.
We're screw ups.
Yeah, we are. Sorry.
Transition. No.
Deal with it.
So he's like that was paranormal, and now he's like, now this is paranormal. So I just didn't know. I mean, if you had some paranormal, do you have any paranormal stories for us?
I do. I have a big one, which I might save a little bit for later because it's so outlandish that people, when you tell people these ghost stories that you've experienced, they're just looking at you like, sure.
See, that's always messed up, and coming from like when I was middle school and early high school, when we lived up in Elizabeth, this place that we lived was the most haunted house I've ever been in, and we lived there for like we lived there for almost 3 years, and Jeez. It was the worst years ever.
Yeah, you
like,
can.
oh my gosh, it was. I will tell you, it was like a demonic-y kind of possession of the house. Like it was weird. Not only did you feel weird, but just weird stuff would always happen. Like there was this ghost or spirit or whatever it was would constantly throw. I think he was a little bit of a jokester, and I liked it.
He's a poltergeist.
Yeah, he was, but he would constantly throw this dustpan against the wall.
Jeez.
So it was our laundry room, and from the front of the laundry to the wall was maybe about, I could probably, I'm thinking 3 feet, 4 feet. What
3
is
to
this,
4.
Like 3 or 4 feet, somewhere in there. So about 3 or 4 feet, and there was these shelves above the washer machine, and they were about eye level, somewhere in there, a little bit higher. But there was a lip. There was a lip about 2 inches, and so we would like, oh, maybe it just fell off. You know? It just fell off. Don't worry about it. Something like that. My mom was always like, I don't know. And, well, that's not how she sounds. But, and so she would, like, put it under the lip. Like, so there would be under the lip, but it would also have, like, stuff on top of it.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. So next thing you know, I'm, like, walking by because I come, and then it was built out of a trailer.
Yeah.
And so it was like a trailer width or a little bit smaller for the kitchen in the main hall, and then at the end of the kitchen was the laundry room, which I said was about 3 feet,
right?
But so it was of walking space because the laundry machine was right there and stuff, and then my bedroom was at the front of that, in front of the kitchen, and so when I walked out of my bedroom, walking so I could look and see through the kitchen, and into the laundry room. Next thing you know, this dustpan just,
oh my
god! It was so fast, and I kid you not, it was like I threw it,
right,
or something.
The fastball.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't like, oh, it fell out or managed to tumble its way out or something like that. It hit the wall with force. And I was like,
that could have taken your head off.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it was just in that 3 foot space, but I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, that's something you can't explain.
Yeah.
Science can't explain that stuff.
No, and so I honestly, I have a lot more because we lived there for 3 years.
Yeah,
but it was just some of the worst. So people that live with ghosts and stuff like that, and it's like, that's cool, and it fascinates me, and I love the paranormal stuff. I love talking about UFOs, and I love talking about Bigfoot, especially. I'm a huge Bigfoot believer, which I know, guys, but I am. So
anything's possible in this world,
and exactly.
Once you experience it for yourself and see it firsthand, then you'll understand. It'll open your mind, but it has to happen to you. You can't just listen to someone's story and be like, "Yep, I believe you." You just have to experience these things for yourself. And growing up, ever since I was little, me and my sister used to see this orb in our rooms, and it would just hover over us. It was this green orb. It's like a mist, and we'd always just look at it. And one day I was like, we both never talked about it because it was so freaky. And I mentioned it to her one day, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I see that almost every night." And
this is when you were younger, you said?
The major instance of paranormal activity I witnessed was September 15th of 2012, a very memorable night.
Okay.
But just giving you a little backstory here, there was a woman named Luella who lived in our house before we moved in, and she passed away in my room.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is always nice to know when you're tossing and turning. But so me and Maddie kind of like, oh yeah, I'm not just tripping on acid. This really, it's always good to have another eyewitness.
Yeah.
So one night after a Rockies game, I come home September 15th, 2012, and I see the orb.
And it's late in the season too. That was a good year for them.
It was actually. It was surprising.
Sorry, it was sports transition, but it was a good year. Okay, so you came home from a Rockies game.
Yeah. And I decided to just talk to the orb. And when I get into the meat of this, don't. It might be an entertaining story for you guys, but this is what I experienced. So I see the orb and I start waving my hands through it.
So did you you talk to it first?
Yeah.
Before this happened?
Yeah. And right when I
How
saw
old were you? How old were you?
I was 19, I believe. Yeah, 19.
19. Okay.
Yeah. And so I said, Luella, is that you? And all of a sudden, the orb is not there anymore. And I was like, that's weird. So I turn over on my side, and I just see this ball of light eclipsing my room. It was extremely crazy, and that light was coming from a dress that I believe to be Luella was wearing. She was hovering over my body as I was laying in my bed, and she was just looking down at me, just looking down. And I freaked out. My heart started racing, and it was like a paralyzing fear that you can't move. And so I turned over on my side.
Rape you?
Ooh. You know what? In all seriousness, she was pretty. She wasn't.
Oh my
she
God,
wasn't
I'm sorry.
an old lady. It was just a really, really cool experience. So
Yeah.
I turned over on my side and I started closing my eyes.
Can you describe what she looked like?
All I saw was her white dress
Mm-hmm.
coming up and her dark curly hair, and I couldn't really get any detailed descriptions of her face, but she was just looking down at me.
Was she like laying down horizontal too, looking
No,
down at you,
she
or
was
she was standing up?
She was standing
looking
up,
at
which
you.
is the weirdest thing. Her legs cut off like right at her shin, and that's all I could see. And she was just hovering over me, looking down at me. And there's more coming into the room.
Okay.
So I turn around, I turn over on my side.
Yeah.
And I'm
at that point
just
to just look away
out.
from her.
Yeah,
kind of
hoping you know she would just peacefully go away, and which she eventually did. But what came into the entrance of my room was a plethora of spirits. They were walking towards me, and the first man, he was a huge burly man, and he was walking towards me, and I think that might have been my grandpa Earl. It looked just like him.
God,
and
I'm getting goosebumps now.
And there were spirits behind him as they were walking
It's like an
towards
army?
me. But I could tell these were
they were all
good
peaceful.
spirits.
Yeah, they were all...
And so as they inched up closer and closer to me, I'm at the edge of my bed, and I'm just in awe. And I closed my eyes and reached out my hand as a sign of a nice gesture. I'm peaceful. I'm not gonna mess with you guys.
Is that when they possess you?
I wish.
Are you freaking real right now? Let me.
No, and then I closed my eyes for. This whole experience felt like 3 hours. It could have lasted 3 minutes. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so I closed my eyes, and they eventually are gone. They're not there in the room anymore.
So you just didn't look at them. You so you were still on your side.
Yeah.
Or did you sit up when you reached your hand out?
At the end, I turned on the lights and ran into my parents' bedroom because I had no idea what to do. My heart was pounding out of my chest. But the last thing I saw were two shadow-like figures standing in my closet looking at me. And it was the single scariest thing out of the entire experience. And they stayed there the longest. And I waited for them to leave. I didn't want to turn on the light and see any more detail. I didn't want them to attack me. So I just laid there with my heart pounding like I was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
As I'm talking about it right now, my heart's going.
I can tell, man. You're getting worked up about it.
Yeah. And it's they they finally dissipated. They were not there anymore, and you know, so that's my experience.
Wow.
Take that with whatever.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That is a really good story, man. You know, I thankfully have never really encountered them in person like that,
in physical
and that kind
form,
of thing.
like
I've felt them. I know I have, and I've seen things move from them. I've heard voices from them.
Yeah.
I've felt stuff. I have seen shadow people, and those are the ones that really creep me out.
They're
with the shadow people, and I think if nothing else, because it feels so nothingness.
Yeah.
Around it. It pulls all the energy. Like when you walk through a room, and this is kind of experience talking obviously with coming in contact with some of the ghosts and stuff. When you walk through any room, you can feel energy from things.
Yeah.
And I mean maybe it's just because this is what my mom has trained me my whole life. It's just tap into the energy around it. It's very much Tai Chi. It's very much that kind of sort of thing. But it's true. Everything gives off energy, and you can feel it in the air, although you may be completely used to it.
Right. Yeah.
But when you get close to one of those,
it's like
it
heavy.
Sucks it out even more, and it's like it's a heavy feeling, and it feels I don't know how to describe it other than it's heavy. Number one, and it's just like. You get that goosebump feeling.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you get that right away, and you get a tingle along your spine.
Right.
And it's weird. So if nothing else, kids, go out and find a ghost.
Yeah, go ghost hunting. I don't know if you've ever experienced sleep paralysis, which I'm pretty sure this is. I watched a documentary. There's a great one on Netflix called Nightmares. Check it out. It's about sleep paralysis. It's a natural phenomenon that scientists just can't describe what's happening. But I was laying in my room one night, and I see this black cloud come over my bed, and it's hard to explain. It just put all of its pressure on top of my chest, and at that point, I was paralyzed. And I guess this is a stage of REM sleep where you're awake, but your body is asleep, and it's something.
It's still dreaming.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Right.
It's like sleepwalking, but your dreams are still in control.
Exactly. And
like your mind is still in control. Right?
Yeah. And this was another instance
because I felt that before, where I'm awake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need to get up, and I can't move.
Yeah.
So I've been in that mode before, which I'm sure all you have too. At least at some point. So I can kind of understand that.
Right. And it proceeded to speak to me inside of my ear, and to this day I can still
so it pushed upon you and then whispered deeply
into my ear, and I swear I could feel the breath hitting my neck, and it was speaking in different language. It was like Latin. It was speaking to me, really, really dark and ominous, and then it left. It was just the part of it that was most horrifying is that you can't move.
Yeah.
You're paralyzed. You can't move.
No.
You're just stuck watching that black mass come over you.
So at that point, I mean, did you try to like squirm and stuff and try to wake yourself up?
I did.
In that standpoint?
And I tried to scream too. Tried to call for my parents, but the air couldn't come out of my vocal cords. It just couldn't push any noise out. It was, and it was the most vulnerable and helpless state I've ever been in. The most horrifying, even more horrifying than my previous ghost story.
Yeah.
But this,
I mean, that seems dark.
It really,
obviously, I mean, it was a dark cloud, but I mean, it seemed dark.
And knowing that it is a phenomena that people kind of commonly experience, sleep paralysis, and if you guys have any personal ghost stories or sleep paralysis instances, please leave a comment. Tell us your story. We're really interested in what our fans have experienced and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And this is something that we said earlier too, is in our last episode, is we want this to be a community. We want this to be a continuous bond of friendship between every one of you. It's something that, you know, we're gonna get up a SoundCloud account.
Yes.
For this episode might go up on the new SoundCloud account. We're gonna get a YouTube channel, obviously, for the video. We're gonna get a Facebook page, Twitter probably. Yeah. Which I don't tweet a lot. If I do, it's mostly. I think and this is actually something I put up on Twitter. Excuse me, let me try to pull it up. The other day, and you know, it's something that I've talked to you about a lot, and it's good Lord, how do I get to my Twitter? It's something I've talked to you about a lot, and it's something that I've really always had the dream, and this is just always stuck with me, and I just want to share with you guys, and it's really, guys, just go out and chase whimsy. Yes. Do what you feel you were meant to do or dream of doing. Yeah. And it's amazing. And I'm sorry, this is a weird transition, but it's really been stuck in my head is chase whimsy. Chase what you dream, chase what you want to do. Go out and you come up to a cliff on life. Mm-hmm. And everybody gets there. You get there at different times in your life. You come up to a cliff and you can either stand there or you can jump. And if you jump, your skills, the stuff that you were meant to do is going to pull out and it'll become your parachute, so you have a terrific ride down. Yeah. And that's just the best analogy for it I can imagine. Really is. And I just want to say that. I'm not going to dwell on it. I just want to say, go out there, chase whimsy, have fun, guys.
Take risks, and above anything else, do what you love. Even if you have to set aside time between your work schedules and your daily lives, do what you are passionate about, whether it be playing music, drawing, doing podcasts, making YouTube videos, and just do it, because we're not made to make a bunch of bills and paperwork and die. That's just make your life meaningful to you. And also, if you're going to start up a YouTube channel, you got all these famous YouTubers. Don't do it just for the money. Do it as a hobby. Make it really special to you. Don't do it just for the money either.
Don't. Okay, so the podcast is all going to be here. You guys, though, you're going to have a little bit of a jump cut. Who knew? Ooh. The camera only recorded 30 minutes. All right,
sucks
so
for you.
That's yeah. So you're gonna have a little bit of a weird thing. We were talking about chasing dream, chasing whimsy, stuff like that. If you didn't hear all of it, I don't know what point it cut out. Guys, just go to SoundCloud, check it out if you want to. If not, shut up.
Yeah. Just don't listen to it if you don't like it.
Yeah, if you don't like it,
we're not forcing you. Come on. People.
I was trying to force them a little bit.
We can also do that as well.
I was trying to guilt them like a Jewish mother.
You watch those anonymous videos with the Guy Fawkes mask. We can do that to you guys. We can hack into your accounts and force you to watch us. But nah.
I wish I was that smart. No. I can't do that kind of stuff.
I can't even work Microsoft Word. So
now that we talked about chasing whimsy, now that my opinions are expressed out, we should probably transition to what the second part of this YouTube and podcast is all about, which is two brews and a good move. That being said, we're drinking pop today.
It's two pops and a good move today.
Yeah, it's because it's early and we probably shouldn't drink yet.
Yeah, we got work to do.
Pretty much. Yeah, we actually have to go to work after this, so it's probably not a good idea. We should be drinking.
No.
So we'll drink at work instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds better.
Here you go, bosses.
All right,
So first off, last night me and my main man here went to the Alamo Draft House and Cinema, and we need to have them as our first sponsor because we're going to be talking a whole lot about them. And not a paid advertisement here, but that place rocks.
It is the best service in the world.
It's not even about that. It's the best experience in the world.
It's the ambiance, the environment. It's at the Alamo. It's in Inglewood.
I don't know where it is. Littleton actually is where it is. It's at Santa Fe and Mineral area.
Yeah.
So look it up. Google it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't go to your run-of-the-mill movie theater
ever again.
No, I can't. After this, the recliners, it's like high fancy stuff. They serve you beer, alcohol, whatever you want. There's
right
waiters coming in as
right
you're
there
watching
in
the movie.
in the movie. Yeah. It's pretty sweet. There's
phenomenal.
a table right in between you guys, and it's a really neat place. So go check it out. Go watch a movie there. We went and saw, and the best thing about this place is they do the movies that aren't usually playing. Like this particular movie that we're going to talk about was only in very select theaters.
Yeah.
The movie before we went and saw, they do quote-alongs a lot. And so
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, it's probably my number 2 favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, it's in my top 5.
Yeah, and so they do a quote along there. They just do really neat stuff all the time. So check it out. They give you props and stuff like that. But this movie that we went and saw last night was called Laser Team.
Laser Team.
Okay, it was put out by I'm not going to say our good friends. I want to, but our
Maybe
peers. It's not even our peers. I don't know what
our idols.
Our other YouTube channel out there. It's Rooster Teeth. They put out this movie as a production piece, and some of their YouTubers were the main stars in it and everything. It was called Laser Team. It's about essentially, without trying to give it away, this group of kind of screw ups get together, and there's an alien attacking Earth.
Right.
And they have to don a suit of armor that was gifted by another group of aliens that were trying to protect us, that are trying to protect Earth. So, they got years in advance. The U.S. military got years in advance. They got a baby. They raised him. They trained him every single day. He was going to be the champion of Earth. And these screw-ups beat them to the punch and put on the armor first. And it was just a hilarious roller coaster of unfortunate events.
It really was funny as hell. Please see this movie just on that aspect alone. It really is hilarious, but it could have gone so cliche with the premise of this movie. Oh, aliens are attacking us. Let's put on this suit and kick some ass. But it's this suit was designed for one single man to wear, and these 4 guys have each part of the suit and their own special ability. It's like the Avengers.
Well, they put it in the movie, and I can't think of the reference now. But there was a certain point in Roman or Greek mythology where this man was fighting. One man was fighting an entire army, and he donned the helmet of Alina, and then the sword of Zeus, and the shoes of one of the fast goddess or god guys, and so I feel bad. I should have took notes, but it donned that kind of thing, and so it had a sword, a shield, fast boots, and then a helmet. And again, it was supposed to be for one person,
right? And
the biggest thing with this is that you can't take off the armor.
No,
it cinches onto your body, so you're not able to take off the armor. And so it just really made a very quirky, odd twist to a movie, and it was really good. I really liked it. But the thing that I absolutely loved about that movie was I ordered. Connor showed up late because he's kind of
like
notorious.
I normally do.
Yeah, he's very notorious for not showing up on time. Which is weird because I'm usually 10 minutes early. Connor's about 15 minutes
Well, you're 5
late.
minutes away.
Well,
bitch.
I'm not. Actually, I'm 15, okay? 15.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm always 10 minutes early to anywhere. He's about 15 late, so I usually get some good time. I knew this though going into it, and so I showed up 1 minute late. I was like, I'm late today. Right on, man. Right on.
I'm even later.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I went ahead and I was like, okay, they're seating the movie. I'm going to go and grab the tickets. And I texted him. I'm like, I'm in this theater, so come find me.
You know what? I was really just going to stand you up.
Yeah, I figured you were.
Oh, I can't do that.
I figured he probably was. So I went and I got the tickets and I went and I ordered us 2 beers because he made me drink this beer last time there. It was called it's the Breckenridge Milk Stout.
Milk Stout, yeah.
And don't get it, guys. I'm a huge fan of Milk Stout. I'm a big fan of porters, Milk Stout, Guinness. Any of the dark black beers, coffee stouts, coffee everything.
Yeah.
And Breckenridge the Breckenridge Milk Stout was god awful. It was the worst
beer.
No.
Beer's beer.
Okay, yeah. Beer is beer. I would rather have like a Budweiser lime than this.
God, really?
Yeah, I really would. It was gross. So don't get that one. But Connor's like, oh, that beer is going to be good. You should drink it. I'm like, okay.
So you would.
I'm not. Shut up, phone!
You're not welcome here.
Just shut up!
Leave us alone.
I'm recording a podcast,
You're
phone.
pissing me off. You're peeving me off.
No!
Gosh
All right.
damn you to hell.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, we got.
Okay, so beer. So I went ahead and I ordered us beer, and I got an apricot ale from the Dry Dock Brewing Company, which is only in Colorado.
Yep.
They've got offers to ship to Texas and everywhere else, and they decline it.
Right.
Apricot ale from the Dry Dock Brewing Company is my all-time best new favorite beer.
Oh my god!
And it's so light. It's fruity. It's the carbonation is perfect, and it's not a bitter twang to it or bitter finish, because that's what I really don't like is a bitter finish.
Yeah. It really is one of my favorite beers, but when you were explaining to me that it's a freaking apricot beer, I puked in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything good to come of this beer. It just really weird, like someone.
No, I think even in the thing I was like, this is payback, man. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. It'll be delicious. And I knew you were all nervous about it drinking it. You're like, I don't know.
But it's a really delicious beer. It's fruity. That's the name. That number one thing of it. It's really fruity. The smell is really unique too.
Yeah.
I can't describe it, but it's marvelous. It really is. And it's not bitter either. Like a lot of people, a lot of hipsters who claim to be IPA fans, and they'll order an IPA. It's a really bitter beer, really different tones of fruitiness, and it's like grapefruit juice, And they'll act all hipster and then take a sip, and you can obviously tell from their face that they're just horrified. Yeah. You see that face, and you're just like,
they drink it like, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't even know what hipsters say. I was going to say, that's good, man.
Tubular.
I have no idea.
No, that's not. That's 90s.
This is so
normal.
bad that we don't know.
Tubular, bruh.
That
Radical.
might be hipsters nowadays.
Radical.
I know there's at least one of you out here that's going to listen to this, and you're going to exactly what hipsters say. And for that, I say, you son of a bitch.
Mustache twirling hipster posers. I see those. I'm gonna personally wax those bitches off for you, and your man buns. Oh, I'm gonna take my katana and slice that bitch right off. I hate it. They're everywhere.
You mustache twirling. Oh gosh, we're gonna pull that sound clip. That has to be our new ringtone, folks.
God.
You mustache twirling piece of
turds.
Shit. Anyway, wow. Okay, so overall, beer, it was great.
Yeah.
Movie was great. Laser Team, with Gavin, whoever his name is, and Michael, whoever his name is, and Gus, somebody.
Man.
Bare Naked Ladies did the song for him.
Really kind of surprising.
The late because Bare Naked Ladies had their last music video, made by Rooster Teeth.
Oh.
And so they produced it for him as a news anchor. Because it was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
I can't say anymore, but you know the song. So their new album, I can't remember the name of it. So they recorded it for him, or they produced a music video for him, and it was really good. It was really well done. And so because the lead singer was a news anchor in it, he had a news anchor role in this movie, and so it's kind of funny.
That's kind of I imagine that's like their way of thanking Rooster Teeth. Like,
I'm sure a little bit. It was like a little like, man,
you guys do a really good job. And one thing about this movie, the cinematography is amazing. It's shot.
It was really high quality.
It really was. I mean, the way the shots are, they really establish the tone of each scene, whether it's a funny or serious note. One little gripe I'd have, like I'm looking at this movie with a microscope, but there's some obvious CGI that's a little distracting when you're getting all these real elements in the film. And
they use some of the CGI in places that I was a little surprised they use CGI in. There's this scene when they drive onto a field,
right? And it's obvious,
and they're in a cop car. You see them busting through the fences and like really cool graphic scenes and stuff. Really good, really well shot scenes. And then next thing you know, it goes from an aerial shot, and you see this car driving onto a like a field and doing like this drifts and stuff like that and stopping, and then it goes back to a normal camera of them. It was just kind of weird that they
distracting.
It wasn't just. I guess it didn't really distract me. I was just like,
it's like you could have done that for free.
Yeah.
Why did you waste money on that? I don't know, but
it also wouldn't surprise me if Rooster Teeth did the CG themselves.
I'm sure a lot of it was them.
Yeah, because they have the technology for it.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't checked them out on Facebook, on YouTube, they're really amazing. Yeah. Actually, it's a really high quality.
Really.
Group, so
yeah. Great.
They also do podcasts, so don't listen to those.
Don't.
No, they're not good. They will make your ears bleed. You might die.
Yeah, they're really offensive too.
I think. Yeah, they're
they make me cry.
They make Connor cry.
Yeah, and poop my pants.
And poop his pants.
Yeah,
with blood,
bloody poop. Coming out. And
it's like he stabs him in the. I don't know. They're bad dudes.
It's a bloody poopy mess. Yeah, with tears involved. Don't.
Yeah, they're bad dudes. Simple as that.
They're assholes.
Yeah. that was bad. Anyway, it was a really good movie. It was a really good beer. So this is kind of what we're going to transition into making for you guys. It's going to be one of those it's going to be a little bit of this we're going to pick a movie a week. Yeah. We're going to pick a movie a week, we're going to pick a beer a week, and we're going to talk about it. So so you can listen and again, on we want your opinions too. Sorry, right. I was kind of losing track of it. But we want your opinions too. I was just trying to let you guys know this is the path that we're kind of taking, and stuff, and so we want to hear your opinions on if you want that changed. Right. Maybe you want more of the BS in the front.
We can do it all for you.
Whatever you want. So, quick transition here because we're about out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do top 5 movies from you. Top 5 movies.
Why do you torture me with that? That's
what's
hard.
What's number 5 for you?
Number 5?
Yes.
Let me sift through my top 5. I would say a little film called. I don't want to have too much Tarantino in here, so I'm gonna say In Bruges. It's a really dark comedy. If you like dark comedies, it's amazing. It stars Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. They play 2 Irish hitmen who kind of stay low in Bruges, which is a country or a part of Belgium, I believe, and it's just comedy all over, like really bizarre comedy that's told in such a dark way, and it makes you feel so much. The atmosphere is beautiful. Please check it out. It's on Netflix right now, and it was a movie that kind of fell under the radar with people, but it's one of those classic movies. I've seen it at least 30 times, and I'm not exaggerating with that number. So check it out, In Bruges, with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. And let's hear your number 5 pick.
Oh, number 5. Gosh, I really wish you would have gone to me yet. I was trying to write down all my stuff. Okay, number 5. It's pretty simple. It's by the best director of all time, and I think you all know who it is. Me. No, just kidding.
You selfish prick.
Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks
Yes.
is a comedic genius.
I love Mel Brooks
and
so
I love
much.
his directing because he breaks the fourth wall. Mm-hmm. Any films that I've ever done, I don't do films. Any shorts, any little videos or anything like that. My favorite style comedy is breaking the fourth wall.
Oh yeah.
And that's why we're looking forward to Deadpool actually. A little bit too,
I
but
just had an orgasm.
Yeah, exactly. But his I think it's his best movie. High Anxiety. No. Blazing Saddles. No. Yeah, Blazing
if you
Saddles.
Want,
okay.
Yeah.
Number 6 is High Anxiety, and then we'll do number 5 is Blazing Saddles. Yeah. My favorite thing about Blazing Saddles is they had one scene that they had to take out of that movie that he thought was a little too raunchy. Which, if you remember that scene with Gene Wilder and just everything like that,
God.
there was a lot of racist jokes in that movie. But the one scene that they had to take out of it was the woman in the movie, which I can't think of her name.
Funny.
Do you remember her name?
No.
Okay,
the old lady.
No, she's the prostitute or the dancer.
No, the
anyways,
coming and going.
Yeah. So that lady, and the main guy, I can't think of his name either.
I can't. Either.
The sheriff. Anyway, he goes back in the back room, and she says, she's like, "Take me, sheriff," and the lights go out, and you hear a zipper, and she's like, "Oh, it's so big," and he's like, "Well, I hope so, darling.
Hope so.
You're sucking on my arm."
That's my elbow.
And so that was the one scene that he had to cut out. So a little bit of useless movie information for you. What's your number 4?
Number 4, I love comedies, but my love of dark movies is so much more because I'm a dark soul. I'm an emo. I must be emo. But my number 4 pick would have to be The Dark Knight, and with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale.
That was a great movie.
It stands the test of time. It's gonna be, it is a modern classic that people from 50 years from now are gonna be taking notes from this film, and it really
directed by Christopher Nolan.
Christopher
right?
Nolan, yeah. And he doesn't overly convolute the storyline. It's pretty basic. You're not confused like you were in Inception. Like what the poop is going on? But the main reason why people watch this movie is because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, and it's just so
he was the best villain ever.
So amazing that a character that you just saw on The Knight's Tale or frickin' Brokeback Mountain with Jake Gyllenhaal having cowboy butt sex in the hills could really transform himself and his personality into this crazy charismatic character.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of crazy prep for this. He locked himself in a hotel room for like an entire month before the shooting started happening for this film, and he did receive a posthumous award, an Oscar for his performance, but I really wish he could have been alive to see how great this movie turned out.
Yeah.
It's a really inspiring film.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so my number 4, which is a movie that you guys probably have never heard of, Funny Bones.
Funny Bones.
Funny Bones is a movie starring Oliver Platt.
I love Oliver Platt.
Oliver Platt is a great guy, and he plays the role of a struggling comedian that's trying to live up to his father's shoes, which essentially he was a huge comedian. And so it's about, and it boils down to the whole movie is stealing jokes.
Right.
It's stolen jokes and not giving tribute to the rightful people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant movie though. And so much so I actually named one of the dog in the movie is called Toast.
Toast.
Yeah. He's like, "Bring me toast." And everybody's like, "What?" He's like, "He wants his dog."
Toast.
He wants his dog.
Come on, dog.
So I named our rabbit Toast.
Hey.
Actually, so it was right after.
That's
Yeah.
sweet.
So anyway, Oliver Platt, he was great in this movie. He was also one of my favorite jokes of all time, and I try to do tribute to it every time. But I love this joke, and it was I used to think my parents were proud of me, but when I was growing up, they would take me over to the orphanage and tell me to mingle. So I always got mixed feelings.
Oh my god!
So it was just one of my favorite jokes. But that was my number 4. Number 3 to you, sir.
Number 3, continuing on with the darkness. We got all comedy with Danny and I guess me. My number 3 movie is a movie that I can always turn on and watch as background noise or really delve into it deeply, and it's The Departed with Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg. It's an ensemble cast with a fantastic director with Martin Scorsese, and it's just masterful performances by every single character. Leo as really amazing, and you feel what he's feeling. The way Martin Scorsese set up his shots, it was so amazing, and Jack Nicholson's performance was incredible, blew me away.
Yeah,
and that's my number 3. Please watch it right now if you haven't. It won an Oscar, I believe, for Best Picture. So go out and watch it right now. And number 3 for you.
Number 3 is a movie that holds a couple different records. To this day, it still holds the best. I can't remember the correct term for this, but the cover up for when they're dubbing over something.
Oh yeah.
So to this day, it still owns that title as the best dub over, which is You Don't Fight a Stranger in the Alps. Do you know which movie I'm talking about here?
The Big Lebowski.
There it is.
You don't find a stranger in the Alps.
So
this is what happens, Larry, when you F a stranger in the butt.
Yes. So we'll keep it G for that. But if you haven't seen the movie, you're a loser. You have to go see it first off. No, it was a little harsh. But seriously, please go see this movie. It's a terrific movie about a complete screw up. Every time I watch it, I feel like I could be a movie star.
Yeah, slackers unite.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
So I mean, I'm not going to bore you with what it's about. It's about awesomeness, straight up awesomeness. And it's not really boring if I tell you, but we're also running out of time, so that's why I was trying to hurry it along.
Yeah.
Seriously, go check it out. The Big Lebowski, my favorite movie.
It's
for number 3 at least. Number 2 for you, sir. What is it?
God, that movie missed my list just barely. But I know. Number 2 for me is a movie that everyone's seen before. No, that's not true. This punk over here hasn't seen it. It's called Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino. He's a star, and if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, go kill yourself. I'm just kidding. That's a little dark, but seriously, stop what you're doing and go watch it. It's on Netflix and on demand for free. It's the way the movie is told. It's told like a puzzle piece, and it all fits together at the very end.
I'm not smart enough for puzzles.
Oh, you are. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
Yeah.
That was your number 2, right?
Number 2.
My number 2. It's starring probably one of the best, again, comedic actors of our generation of the last few decades. And again, he was taken way too soon. Chris Farley in his first debut movie, with David Spade, Tommy Boy.
I love
Tommy Boy was a magical movie of ups and downs and roller coasters and heartbreak and laughter, and you get Chris Farley's warming glow around the whole thing.
It's
of just you watch it, and not only is it just hysterically funny, and it's so many lines that it's just a quote along masterpiece, but you watch it and you feel better. And that's one of the things that I love with Chris Farley's acting, is that just hearing him or seeing him, you feel better. You feel uplifted, and you feel like you're getting a hug when you watch his stuff. And so he did that probably the best I've ever seen it in his whole career in that movie, Tommy Boy.
Really, really puts joy in your heart.
Yeah.
Just looking at his picture. But man.
So, number one for you. What is it?
Oh. This one for me was really tough, but I have to say I'm a huge horror movie fan. I love horror movies so much, and we're back. That was another beautiful jump cut for you guys, but we were in the middle of discussing my number one pick
right there
for top 5 movies ever. And we might have to come back to this because these change off and on. You're depending on
absolutely.
But
I update it constantly. Yeah. This is just the mood I am in
for this day, I guess. But my number one is a cult classic in the horror genre called Evil Dead 2, and it's just a masterpiece. It's being taught in film schools all over the country, and it really is a masterpiece by Sam Raimi, who directed all the Evil Dead movies and the first 3 Spider-Man movies, which were great in and of themselves, but Evil Dead 2 is a campy, gory, and hilarious comedy horror movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I honestly haven't heard of it. Actually,
it's a cult classic, really.
Yeah.
And it's something that it's hilarious and terrifying at the same time. It's blood everywhere, gushing blood. Aunt Flo came to visit that set. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh. Woo. Okay, well, let's finish it out with a movie that is starring Batman. And he's also starring the new Batman, might I add, and he's also starring this actor's up for an Oscar this year, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, in one of Kevin Smith's best movies ever, Dogma.
Oh, I love Dogma.
Dogma is just a hilarious movie with an amazing story and just such creativity in it. Filming and cinematography is not Kevin Smith's strong suit. It's all about the scripts, and his writing. Scripts and writing in that movie is just phenomenal. It's so funny. It's so charismatic.
Yeah.
Just everything, and you get Kevin Smith's best quote in that movie. Like he says a couple lines in it, right? As Silent Bob, but my favorite is like, he didn't have a ticket.
He didn't have a ticket.
He threw a guy
off. Train.
The train.
Oh my god, I love that scene so much. So, Chris Rock is in it. Alan Rickman as Metatron, the angel. He is hilarious in this movie. Oh my god, the scene where he's like, "What are you gonna do? Hit me with that fish?"
Yeah,
and
the voice he plays the voice of God.
Yeah,
which totally fits.
I love that movie so much. Dogma. God
it's
damn
Jane
it!
Silent Bob in there.
Why didn't I put this on my list? Damn it! I'm gonna have to watch this when I get home.
Oh man, it's a terrific movie. It really is. He's so funny in it. He's so great in it. So that's my number one. We had quite a list for you.
Yeah.
Hey, put up your list. Let us know what your list is.
Yeah.
And we'll mention it and talk about it, review it, something like that in the next video.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of
and
movies
podcast.
we haven't seen before. Either,
No,
so.
probably because I'm definitely that. Or
This dude slacking, hasn't seen Pulp Fiction.
Which is, it's so weird because I love so many movies and I watch so many movies.
Yeah.
But I just don't watch the right movies because there's so many movies that I watch and I'm like, this sucks.
You're probably watching Sharknado and some crap like that.
I have never watched Sharknado.
The Human Centipede.
Yes. I had to watch that one.
Oh, I was forced to, too.
Yeah, I was actually forced to watch it. So, and then I got about a third of the way in it. I'm like, what is going on? And so I got a little intrigued. Not going to lie.
I need a barf bag.
Yeah, it was a gross movie. So, anyway, man, that does it. We're done here. We're done here with 2 brews.
And a good move.
Yeah, which was watching this podcast. I was going to say listening, but you're going to watch it.
You're watching and listening.
If
you're cool.
Okay, we'll do 2 takes. You're watching this podcast or you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
Whatever.
Man,
works.
I'm Danny V.
And I'm Connor Faulkner. Thank you for watching. It really means a lot.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Yes.
Later.
Bye-bye.